The one body language mistake after rejection that destroys your status in seconds. Our brains interpret rejection in a very simple way. Our conscious mind knows that the person who rejected us is probably just Dave from accounting or Sarah from that job interview a few weeks ago. But our nervous system doesn't see it that way. Our nervous system doesn't see people at all. It sees only social threats. And when our nervous system detects a social threat, our body's first automatic response to that social threat is to submit, to make ourselves smaller. And that is submission. This physical act is the output of an ancient survival program written into our DNA long before humans ever walked the earth. When challenged by an alpha, a submissive primate would avert its eyes, lower its head, and turn to run. The signal to the opposing primate, I am no threat, I am smaller, I submit. Researchers studying primate troops have observed this behavior in macaques and chimpanzees for decades. When an alpha challenges a subordinate, the subordinate may lose. But when he loses, he immediately averts his gaze and lowers his head. Every other primate in the group will instantly read this and confirm that social order has been re-established and that conflict has ceased. As you walk across the hall to grab a coffee, you suddenly remember that Dave from accounting is there. Your eyes immediately drop to the floor as you try to make yourself as small as possible. You turn down a different aisle to avoid him in case he's standing by the coffee machine. Your shoulders draw in, your arms are folded across your chest, and you're trying to disappear. And they are watching you because they know exactly what you're going through. They know exactly what it's like to have rejection play out in public. And they can tell right away whether or not you have regained your footing. This is why social psychologist Mark Leary calls this internal monitoring mechanism the sociometer, or social meter. The sociometer is designed to measure, among other things, the degree to which you are being accepted by others. When that meter goes off the charts, for instance, when someone rejects you for a job, the entire apparatus of your mind goes into a heightened state of social monitoring and alertness. Leary calls this state heightened social vigilance. You become hyper-attuned to other people's perceptions of you, constantly gauging whether or not the people around you are accepting of you. And while normally your mind reads facial expressions in order to gauge general social information, in this heightened state everything another person does, including neutral things, gets read as if it were a signal or message with huge implications for you. And so, when you're in this state, every glance or even failure to make eye contact can be taken as a severe judgment. This same rule applies when you are in a state of anxiety. Your behavior is the only data point that others can read. When you physically submit to the person who rejected you, you're confirming their decision out loud. Submission is the antithesis of dominance. By making yourself smaller after someone has publicly diminished you, you're agreeing with them. 1 second of looking up at eye level and nodding calmly could change everything. If you're simply saying, yes, I see you, everything is fine, and then walking off, the world has no idea that your world has just been turned upside down. Your status may have just been lowered, but so what? Your world keeps on turning. And if they knew, it wouldn't matter either. So simply walk on by. However, by lowering your head and slinking away in fear, you're broadcasting your inferior status to all around you. It doesn't matter if it was only a stranger who witnessed the exchange. The fact that you were bested by this person will be glaringly obvious to them, and it will have taken something from you. Most people are not aware that it is their reaction to rejection that will tell the real story. Remember this rule? One rejection is just one data point. Your reaction to it is the second data point that creates the trend. Without a plan, your brain is going to default to the worst things it can think of to do. It's going to start to ruminate on the worst parts of the conversation, replaying it in your head over and over again, trying to figure out where you went wrong. Then when you run into the person again, seemingly by accident, your nervous system is going to go into overdrive. It's going to run the same old program that it's always run, the submission program that's been loaded into your brain's hard drive. You need a protocol, a set of physical actions that run automatically before your mind even knows what's happening. It's called acknowledge and redirect, used by law enforcement and elite executive coaches to maintain total composure under extreme pressure. Without a plan, your default program is to submit and hide. But instead, you're going to run a counter program. 3 steps. That's it. First is brief eye contact, essentially acknowledgement that you have seen the person. The maximum duration for this step is 2 seconds. After you have acknowledged the person with a glance of up to 2 seconds, it is time for the nod. Step 2 is a nod. When you're under pressure, keep your mouth shut. Emotions locked down, composure intact. Give a closed lip nod, nothing more. A smile with your mouth open reads as approval seeking. It signals you're not in control. Step 3. Redirect. The moment the nod finishes, move your eyes and your body with purpose. If someone just rejected your project, the worst thing you can do is scurry away like a child who's been scolded. Maintain your pace. Head toward a new destination. You aren't fleeing. You simply have far more important things to attend to. Let me give you a real example. I remember one time walking into a difficult meeting with someone who had blocked a project I'd been working on for months. Tuesday morning, 9:15 a.m. Long grey carpeted hallway, glass conference room at the end. My heart was racing. I ran the protocol in my head as I walked. 2 seconds, nod, eyes forward. He was already at the head of the table when I walked in. I caught his eye for 2 seconds, enough to acknowledge him. One close-mouthed nod as I passed his seat. Then I moved straight to my chair. The whole thing took 4 seconds. No one in that room had a clue about our history. Not the tense emails, not the horrible phone call the week before. To everyone else, it looked like a routine interaction between 2 peers. A rejection is a decision made by one person in one situation with one particular set of criteria. It's not a universal verdict on your worth, but your behavior after the rejection that creates a story. People remember how you behaved after the rejection long after the rejection itself is forgotten. Avoid eye contact, shrink away, and you become the person who couldn't recover. Walk past with composure, and you become the person who didn't break. There is something profound that happens to you when you behave as if you are confident, even when you do not feel it. Amy Cuddy did an enormous amount of research around this topic and discovered that, in fact, your body can lead your mind into confidence. So even when you don't feel it, by behaving as if you are confident, you can, in fact, start to feel confident. You don't get to choose if people are going to tell a story about you, but you do get to choose what goes into that story. Remember, your sociometer is a constantly updating tracker. When you run this protocol, it logs a completely neutral event, not a loss. The more you do this, the less of a threat your brain perceives this person to be. The threat response that once kicked in whenever you saw them begins to wane. Remember, this is not a protocol to manage other people's perception of you. This is a protocol that will input data directly into your own nervous system. Every time you run these 3 seconds correctly, your brain logs a neutral result instead of a defeat. The biological pull towards submission gets quieter. You are not managing how other people see you. You are rewriting your own instincts. And that story would be of a person who didn't break. If this sort of stuff is useful to you, the science behind human behavior, plus what you can do with it, subscribe below. The videos on this channel are based on a genuine behavioral framework for dealing with real-life situations, not just a load of advice on how to deal with stuff.